Welcome to the Planning Your Summer Food Service Program application training for the Summer Food Service Program hosted by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs. In this training, we will review information on applying to become an SFSP sponsor, how applications are approved, what happens if an application is denied, what is included in the permanent sponsor agreement, what a sponsor may appeal, and a planning checklist for your program. All sponsors are required to submit an initial program application. The application process involves submittal of paper forms and online forms through CMP Web, which is ODE CMP's online application and claiming system. ODE CMP will provide the applicant with all the necessary application materials. A list of application requirements cannot be all-inclusive. However, the following slides indicates the basic application requirements the sponsors must satisfy. The application materials must demonstrate adequate administrative and financial responsibility to manage an effective food service. School food authorities and other sponsors currently in good standing in the NSLP, School Breakfast Program, or Child Meal Care Food Program are not required to submit further evidence of financial and administrative capability when applying for SFSP participation. Typically, SFAs and CACFP sponsors participating in other child nutrition programs have already demonstrated they have financial and administrative capability necessary to operate the NSLP, SBP, or CACFP. A school food authority or CACFP sponsor is considered to be in good standing if it has been reviewed during the previous 12 months and had no significant deficiencies. However, ODE CMP has the discretion to deny the applications or, at a minimum, require additional evidence of financial and administrative capability from SFSAs and CACFP sponsors that have had significant problems operating the NSLP, SBP, or CACFP. In order to participate in the SFSP, sponsors must enter into a permanent program agreement with ODE CMP. The agreement is a legally binding document that specifies the rights and responsibilities of both the sponsor and ODE CMP and should be read carefully before being signed. The Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act of 2010 requires that the agreement between the state agency and SFSP sponsor be permanent. This means that once ODE CMP and SFSP sponsor enters an agreement, it does not need to be renewed. However, SFSP sponsors operating under a permanent agreement must submit renewal information that must be approved by ODE CMP annually. It is important to understand that describing the agreement as permanent means only that the agreement has no predetermined expiration date. Under certain circumstances, these agreements may be amended or canceled, and this feature of the agreement does not create contractual obligations beyond those described in the SFP regulations. This requirement reduces paperwork for sponsors and state agencies and simplifies program management. ODE CMP must enter into a single permanent agreement with a school food authority that operates more than one child nutrition program administrated by ODE CMP. Additionally, an addendum to the existing permanent agreement may be made for institutions participating in CACFP and SFSP. Under the agreement, the sponsor must agree to operate a nonprofit food service, serve meals that meet the program requirements, serve meals without cost to all children, except that camps may charge for meals served to children not served meals under the program, issue a free meal policy statement, train administrative and site personnel as required, claim reimbursement only for types of meals specified in the agreement, maintain proper sanitation and health standards as required by state and local law, maintain a financial management system, maintain and file documentation of required site visits and reviews, and make all accounts and records relating to the program available to authorized officials on request, and retain financial and administrative responsibility for the program. Applicants must also submit documentation of tax-exempt status under the Federal Internal Revenue Code of 1986 if they are private, nonprofit entities. Please note SFSP regulations do not require church sponsors to obtain federal tax-exempt documentation. Also submit a W-9 form and a Data Universal Numbering System or DUNS number. A DUNS number is a unique, non-indicative 9-digit identifier issued and maintained by Dun & Bradstreet that verifies the existence of a business entity globally. Dun & Bradstreet assigns DUNS numbers for each physical location of a business. There are two ways to obtain a DUNS number. One is by phone. You can call toll-free 1-866-705-5711. You can also go online to the website indicated on the slide. Organizations must provide a written policy statement on free meals. This policy statement, which must be approved by ODE CMP, explains that the same meal is served to all enrolled children regardless of reimbursement status and without discrimination against any child because of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. Sponsors must also submit documentation demonstrating site eligibility for all sites. Please review the Administrative Guidance Part 1, Planning the Program, Eligibility Training for more information on site eligibility. Sponsors must also submit a sample one-month menu for all meals offered at each site. Organizations must also provide a copy of the proposed media release with the application. The application may not be approved without it. Once the media release statement is approved by ODE CMP, it must be provided to media outlets serving the area where the SFSP sites are located. The purpose of the media release is to announce the availability of free meals, the non-discrimination policy, and complaint procedures if an individual wishes to file a complaint for violation of non-discrimination policy. Enrolled sites and camps must include the reduced price income eligibility guidelines in the media release. The media release also must state that the children who are part of households that receive SNAP benefits, FDPIR, or TANF benefits are automatically eligible for free meals. In addition to the information that is required to be included in the media release, ODE CMP encourages sponsors to include other relevant information, such as activities that will be provided for children at the SFP sites. There is a sample media release available in the Administrative Guide for Sponsors, available at the link on the slide. Sponsors must also submit a budget. Sponsors will need to submit estimated operating costs and estimated administrative costs for the upcoming program year. ODE CMP has waived the budget requirement for public schools or private nonprofit schools that participated in the SFSP during the preceding summer or during vacation breaks in the current year for schools operating on your own calendar, and who had no operational problems during that time as reported by ODE CMP or FNS. For sponsors that plan to use a food service management company to provide meals, provide a copy of the invitation for bid. Sponsors should also submit plans for advertisement for bids if they intend to contract with a food service management company. For sponsors that plan to use a school food authority to provide meals, provide a copy of the vended meal agreement. Sponsors must certify that a training program will be conducted for monitors and site personnel. Include information explaining when the training will be held and the topics that will be discussed. Sponsors may apply for startup payments if available and if the sponsor wants to receive them. If the sponsor is a governmental entity or a private nonprofit organization, sponsors must certify they will have direct operation control at each site. To submit forms through CMP Web, sponsors must submit CMP Web user authorization request to ODE CMP. Staff that will be responsible for submitting applications and claims will need access. In addition, respective staff can have view access only if they will not be submitting applications for claims. Other forms submitted through CMP Web include the sponsor information sheet. The sponsor information sheet includes contact information for the sponsor, staff contact information, the management plan, and information on the meal service. Sponsors may request advance payments to the sponsor information sheet. These are payments that may be received before the program begins to pay for administrative and operating costs that are incurred before the program starts. A management plan. A management plan that includes staffing responsibilities. The management plan is included in the sponsor information sheet. Site information sheets for all participating sites. The site information sheet includes documentation that the site is capable of managing an effective meal service times, documentation of eligibility, average daily attendance, and site meal caps. An online budget. In addition to the paper budget form, sponsors will also need to submit in CMP Web estimated operating cost and estimated administrative cost for the upcoming program year. Within 30 days of receiving a completed application, ODE CMP will notify the applicant of its approval or disapproval. If the application is incomplete, ODE CMP will notify the applicant within 15 days and provide technical assistance to help the applicant complete the application process. Approval to participate must be denied to any applicant found to be seriously deficient in the operation of any federal child nutrition program, including those disqualified from the CACFP. Sponsors will receive reimbursement only for meals that are served after they have been approved for program operations. Sponsors must be certain that they have been approved before they begin their meal service. Once an initial application has been approved by ODE CMP, more limited annual updates to the application will be required. ODE CMP will notify returning sponsors prior to the renewal application period of the specific renewal application requirements. ODE CMP may exempt standard application procedures for those sponsors that want to provide program benefits in times of emergencies. These sponsors may be exempted from filing an application if they have participated in the SFSP in the current year or in either of the 2 previous calendar years. Any sponsor denied participation in the program or denied program payment may obtain a hearing by an official other than the one directly responsible for the original determination. At the time of the denial, ODE CMP will tell the sponsor whom to contact for an appeal. The following ODE CMP actions may be appealable: denial of a sponsor's request for advance payment, denial of a sponsor's claim for reimbursement, except on decisions made by FNS with respect to late claims or upward adjustments, termination of a sponsor's or a site's participation in the program, denial of a sponsor's site application, if applicable, denial of a food service management company's application for registration or the revocation of a food service management company's registration, claim against a sponsor for remittance of a payment, and refusal by ODE CMP to forward to FNS an exception request by the sponsor for payment of a late claim or a request for an upward adjustment to a claim. If you have any questions, please contact your assigned child nutrition specialist. Thank you for participating in the Planning the Program application training for summer food service programs hosted by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs. Thank you for everything you do to fuel Oregon's future.